Written by Murphy here. I'm doing a book review of John Dies at the End by David Wong. This book is a very modern book. It was created by that thing where the author created the book and had an internet group of people that read it as he wrote it and gave him feedback so that this book was created via online community. So he started writing it in 2001, and it wasn't published as a paperback until 2007. It was available for free for several years, so it gained a big cult following. Now, this book is comedy horror. Oh, yeah, it also got made into a movie, which I haven't seen, probably won't. It's a comedy horror book. Don't think I've ever read a comedy horror book. I tend to avoid horror books. This is not, but this one it was popping up in the world, so I'm like, I think I need to read it. So the book itself it's comedy horror, but it's sci-fi because, pretty much sci-fi. I was going to say, is it fantasy, magical? No, it's pretty much sci-fi. It's definitely got things that remind me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe and 1984. So yeah, dystopia. Very gross. It was basically written, as I was reading the first part of it, I'm like, this is like those kids, those boys when they're little that like to draw pictures and they're very gory, like they got their red marker out and they make this person like bloody stump that's like the legs cut off and the bloody stump, and they have all these, battle scenes and gross. But that's what they're into, and the little boys like to do the gross, disgusting things. So this was definitely that, pulling that out for the boys that like the gross stuff. There may be girls that like it too. I haven't met any. Surely they exist. So this is appealing to that part of human nature. It's kind of a save the world adventure because the main character is David Wong, and his friend John goes along with him on all these save the world adventures. It starts with a drug. It's like some sort of drug that they call the soy sauce, and that when they take it, their minds are changed and they see the world. They see things in the world that other people can't see. So they're. I hear this about drugs. She's like, "Oh, you just really understand the universe." Well, in a super dark way. So the whole universe is messed up because there's this alternate universe that is like portaling its way into their world. They are every step along the way, although David Wong and John are not exactly Boy Scouts, they're good people. They're trying to do the right thing. They're not fantastic human beings. They're kind of slacker types, but they are good people. They're trying to protect the innocent, as it were. They're trying to save the world. And the more and more the story goes along, it's revealed what's happened and more about the characters. These alternative worlds that show up, alternative realities that show up, each of them are more and more horrific. So our universe is not great, but these other universes are far worse. Now, there is a entity called Korak who, like, at the beginning you're like, is this a demon? What's happening? It is revealed later, like in Hitchhiker's Guide, that Korak is a man-made computer crafted out of biological matter. And Korak runs everything. And Korak is not just cruel. Korak is obscene and childish. And the universe that created Korak has said, oh, he's running everything. So they have stepped aside and let this very destructive, cruel being be in charge. So this is a more and more depressing dystopia. The characters go around, they're like, what do we do to stop this hole into these alternative universes? How do we stop Korak? And they don't know, because he's so powerful, they don't know how to stop it. Again and again, the answer is, we need to blow it up. They create flamethrowers, which is a fun thing to do if you're, into this. Like, yeah, flamethrower, how cool. But they're like, we're gonna flame them. They in this world, it's funny because it's called John Dies at the End, but all of the characters die. But in the same way as a video game, there's a way that they can come back to life. So it's like dying doesn't even matter. It's kind of a fun ride if you want a mind-bending story. The theme, but the reason that it grabbed me, I'm like, it is not just a pointless horror movie, a pointless horror story, although it feels like it. It's got a theme. This theme is this drug, the soy sauce, wakes you up so that you see things as they really are. Like, oh, is that it? And John and David are not geniuses. The only thing they can think to do is, we need to destroy and cauterize this hole to the other universes so that it doesn't spread to other people, which is a kind and a little bit altruistic. It is altruistic. They are willing to kill themselves in order to protect the rest of the world. That's actually a moral thing to do. However, they find a way not to have to do it because they keep caring about people. They keep caring about each other and about people. So the story sounds like it's incredibly grim, but they keep choosing a woman towards the end. The love interest shows up. They're like, but I want to help her. And she is even more gentle, though she's not quite the idiot, not quite the flamethrower inclined type. So it's like the world has been set up so that they need to destroy it, but they keep trying to find a way not to need to. Now, how does this have anything to do with our reality? Well, I told you it sounded like Hitchhiker's Guide. Read that book. Like, bye and thanks for all the fish, because the world was basically a computer made to answer the most important question, right? And then 1984, Winston at the end, he's trying to resist. He's trying to do the right thing, trying to resist the horrors of Big Brother. But in the end, because he puts his effort into resisting, he ends up being part of it. This is similar to our world. If we are given, if we're bopping along, eating our junk food and watching our video games and doing this stuff, right? La 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 la. But what if we are educated? Somebody tells us a story, and we see things as we never knew they were. Like a young person going to college and being told, do you understand the horror that is we are being controlled and we are part of this system that's hurting everybody? Coming up with the moral, kind solution seems to have this logical steps that you should take which could conceivably include flame throwing and cauterizing the world, but the characters continue to choose illogically love. Like, let me just wait a little bit longer because I care about people. I care about Amy. That gives me hope. That gives me hope, even though the book does not really let us keep it, because it ends in a very inconclusive way. It ends without even an end of a sentence. So this story, he's not aiming for great literature. He's aiming for a good story that'll grab you. But he also hit some major themes that I am impressed with. I'm like, yeah, you can feel like the only choice you have is to burn it all down. But there's still that thing, and that's what I also said in my review of 1984. Choose love. Don't give in to the violence. Don't choose that. There's gonna be another way. One of the other things, too, that I found, when you get there, that's like, this is the crux right here. So there's a lot of alternative universes that show up and John dies at the end, and they have different, different realities in those universes. All of them are horrible. All of them are wretched. But then, when we hear a little bit about the origin story of David Wong and the love interest Amy, how they arrived at the not great state that they're in, even before the alternative universes got involved, even before the soy sauce took the scales from their eyes. Our world, untouched, the reality of their world, which is our world, was very not right. It was already very messed up. And John describes how he was viciously bullied. And, not John, David Wong, describes how he was viciously bullied, and the PE teacher wouldn't help. He was in high school, wouldn't help him, knew that he was being viciously bullied, and they even imply locker room rape. Horrifying. And he had no help. It was set up for him. So this world is not gentle. Amy also, she describes how she was in an accident, a car accident that killed her parents, and she lay there for hours in the snow with her dead mother, her dead father and her dying mother right next to her, and listened to other cars pass by. This is the world, the real, not messed up world. But no one would stop. The world was constructed against them with no kindness, no help, and they were left alone. So this story definitely has a theme of you're on your own. Even so, these characters who had every reason to burn it all down and were willing. It would have been a logically moral choice to do so. They did not. They chose love. And people may argue with me about it, Let's get into a nerd argument. Tell me what you think. Like, that is the hope. It's horrible, but there's still goodness in people. There is still hope. Yeah, we can still find it. So I found it profound, kind of disturbing, and I really had to wrestle with it. I spent like all day trying to figure out how I was going to do this book review, because this is not meant to be great literature. It's meant to be, super graphic, grab you and make you feel stuff. And then, oh man, there was a lot of gross stuff in there. But I'm like, it's still something that people can relate to. In the same way that people still relate to 1984, because they're like, how can that be? This world. Yeah, this world where John dies at the end. It's our world. As outsized and gruesome and weird, it's still our recognizable world where we know that lots of people aren't going to help you, and the world and the deck is stacked against you because we made humans made Korak, and then gave up power to that. Like, no, we're still there. We're still in it. Yeah, that happened. But while we have each other, while we can still love Amy and try to protect her, while David Wong can still do that, horrible things still happen, but there's still like this glimmer. Okay, that's what I got, my friends. I'd love to hear what you think. And let me know. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What does it make you think about? Let's continue the conversation.